I've personally coached hundreds of young guys, helping them go from a 9 to 5 or from being in school to making their first $5,000 to $10,000 per month online. And recently, I had a one-on-one call with one of the students I recently started coaching, who is currently in a 9 to 5, trying to get into the high-ticket sales space, which I've been in for multiple years now, trying to learn how to get into the space, land his first role. I'm currently helping him to do so. And on one of our calls, he asked me, like, Alex, what was that biggest mental block that you had on your journey of going from like being kind of in the same position that he's in right now, being like pretty broke and like unsuccessful, trying to have his like upcoming and become successful? What was like that kind of belief that I had to shift, and really stuff that clicked for me that made me see success? Because I went from 0 to 10K a month in basically 3 months when I figured some stuff out and I got into high ticket sales. And I want to share with you in this video what I told him. It's generally none of this like, yeah, take action and like get more motivated and all this like guru stuff. I just sit down with you and like genuinely share a story that actually changed my life. Like genuinely, it shifted everything for me, and got me to a point where now I make $45,000 to $50,000 per month consistently in profit at 23 years old as a Swedish guy. And what it is just realizing that what we usually be conditioned to, like what I was conditioned to from a young age, you probably relate to this as well. If you're watching YouTube videos like this, self-development, you're someone who's smart, right? Like you think a lot and you watch videos, you take in information, and there's good sides and then it's also horrible sides to that. Because I was the same way, like from a young age, I always was like very smart overall. I always like in school, not studied a lot for my tests and still do well in school. I always be rewarded for being kind of like analytical. You know, that's how the school system works, is you're rewarded for being analytical and like thinking and like analyzing and things like that. So from a young age, what happens to like most of us is we're like conditioned to be extremely analytical and always like think and like analyze things, and always think that like what makes us superior is thinking and analyzing and things like that. And that's one of the biggest things that's kept me stuck for such a long time, is sitting down and like analyzing and trying to figure out the perfect plan. When I got into online business, trying to like start my first online business, which is getting into the drop shipping, you know, back in the day, I remember just like sitting there like analyzing and thinking, okay, what product should I pick? Should I run these type of ads? And I was just stuck from the time I was like 17 up until I was like towards the year I was about to turn like 19. So when I was 18, I was literally I was working a lot. I was putting in all these hours, but I wasn't actually doing shit. You know, I was actually just like sitting down and like analyzing and thinking about, should I do this product or should I try this? Should I do this, different things? And this is a pattern I noticed with like all the guys that I coach nowadays, because I've seen so many guys like firsthand go from literally nothing, like being in a 9 to 5 and being unsuccessful and having run drop shipping and trading and like agency and all this stuff, to now making 10K, leaving their hometown. I have guys in my group that traveled to like Bali, traveled to Marbella, to Spain, and to Colombia, to Miami, like all over the world. And I see this like every single time. These people, they go from being in this state of like constant like analyzation and trying to figure out the perfect plan, and trying to just think and trying to like make better decisions and trying to just analyze and take all this thinking effort, and they stay stuck. And then they make one simple shift I'm going to tell you about, like what I actually did, and they start seeing success. So I need to just like tell you this, because this is the exact pattern that you're staying stuck in right now. I promise you, if you're watching this video, like you're in this pattern right now where you're just taking in information, you think that information is going to get you forward, when in reality the pattern that I see every single time, the guys that I work with that make it, my mentors, people that I work with that are like multimillionaires, they have like 10, 20, 50 million liquid like in their actual bank account. These people, they just move with extreme urgency. They understand that there's no information, there's no clarity that comes from it's like sitting around and thinking about stuff. They understand that in the beginning stages, going from 0 to 10K, even 0 to like 50 to 100K a month, you simply need to take massive action. And most of you guys watching this right now, you're just thinking way too much. You would benefit from just like stop thinking completely and just like distract yourself. And just distract yourself with the actual work. That is not going on TikTok and Instagram, obviously, but distracting yourself with the work. This is the most productive and like the most helpful advice I can give you that's helped me genuinely change my life, is going from being a place of like thinking that, okay, I'm going to analyze a bit more, I'm going to think a bit more, and that makes me superior, thinking that I'm going to, because I think so much, I'm so smart, to shift into a mindset where I just take so much action, I just do so much shit, that there's no opportunity for me to overthink. There's no chance for me to even get into a place where I start overthinking. So an example of this in the beginning of my journey, I would like literally spend like 2-3 hours per day as like having these planning sessions. In the morning, I would wake up and I would do journaling and meditation. I would go work out and I would just like sit down and just plan and think about the business. When I didn't make any money at all with my agency, I was there and plan about what I'm gonna do when I make 20K a month. Retarded. And I was just like thinking about stuff all the time. And I was broke doing that. Then when I got into high ticket sales about a year later and I hit my first 10K a month, what happened during that time, I basically had no time for reflection at all. I didn't spend any time. I was literally just woke up, I meditated, went for a walk, started working, taking sales calls for a couple of hours, and I would just wrap up my day after that, and maybe like journal for like 10 minutes, just like what happened during the day, what I want to bring on to the next day, and I would just like do other shit. And I made more money. I made like a lot more, like 10x the money that I was making before with the agency. Because I stopped sitting and thinking that analyzation is gonna make me superior. I started doing the actions. And there's a spiritual or like a more deep reason behind this, because when you're analyzing and thinking and all these different things, number one, you're not taking any action. You're not actually like doing anything meaningful to get to your goal. You're just like procrastinating. It usually becomes because you're scared. That's what it was for me. I was scared of taking meaningful action. That's why I procrastinate. It's like procrastination that feels productive. That's what it is. That's the first thing. But also what's happening is you're telling yourself unconsciously that you do not deserve success. When you're analyzing and thinking and procrastinating, etc., you're telling yourself that I need to be prepared. I need to have these things in place to put in the work, which is why you're broke, why you're stuck, why I was broke. But then when I shift and I stopped doing all this preparation, stopped doing all this thinking, I just like shut up every single day and took the actions, even though it was scary, I just like started throwing stuff at the wall and it's like trying shit. Then what you're doing is you're telling yourself, I don't need to prepare myself more. I'm already the person who can go out and take action. And then success comes towards you. I'm not gonna get all like woo-woo and spiritual, but just like think for yourself. Why would you logically need to prepare yourself to take action and like do stuff? It's because there's a lack of trust that you can figure stuff out. That's the core issue. If you have genuine trust in yourself, there's no reason not to go out and try stuff. And I want to end this off with just like, you look at these people, like maybe look at guys like Togi, guys like, who else is a good example? I think Togi, if you guys know who that is, it's a good example. Whatever he does, he succeeds in. He can like lose all of his money and then like next week he has to go and back it back. Why is that? It's not because of his business model. This is why I never talk about like high ticket sales, like the only way to make money online. You can make money. I've made money with an agency, with dropshipping, these other things. It's not the only way. There's definitely ways that make it better. But what it comes down to for him and for myself and everyone else who's successful is about who they are. Who they are deep down, that's what dictates success. And the same thing for you. When you learn that you are someone who can just like decide whether you make stuff work, that's when you can take the power back and you realize it comes back to you. It's like your ability to just go out and try stuff. Take action. And just throw stuff at the wall and just like keep just shooting shots. And then one of those shots is going to get you to where you want to go. Like I've failed more times than you probably even tried. So you sitting there and thinking that you're just gonna like plan and like analyze more before you start something is absolutely retarded. And again, I'm saying this because I was there. I was a person watching this like this, and it's like, yeah, this guy's just saying this because he wants me to buy his course or whatever. Like I generally do not care if you want to get into my coaching and things like that. And if you're not willing to even take in this advice, you probably should not even be going after entrepreneurship or a high income skill. Because it started off with being willing to try stuff, being willing to jump into the fire and like try stuff out and stop just being the one who's going to be thinking and analyzing, because the plan is never perfect. You just start walking and that's when the path aligns. I hope this makes sense. I'm just yapping, I feel like, at this point, but I just want to share this stuff that's been super, super helpful on my journey. This is what I told the guy on our call, and it's helped him. He's now in a different state where he's just action every single day. He's in the right state. He's just like moving forward instead of being this person who's just like sitting down and like constantly thinking and things like that. So hope this makes sense. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow as always in the next video. Take care. Ciao.